Hey guys, it's Stacey Luces. Welcome to Beyond the Quo. I'm happy you're joining me. I'm also a little bit sad because I live in South Florida and I woke up this morning and it was chilly and I'm in a sweater. So that is just not my vibe if you know me very well. But I guess some people are thankful for sweater weather. I'm not one of those, but yes, here we are. So, as you know, Beyond the Quo is a space where we talk about three things. We talk about redefining success on your own terms, whatever that looks like to you in whatever season of life that you're in. We talk about living authentically, and a lot of us come into that later in the game because we've hit all of those milestones and we kind of look around and we're like, oh my gosh, what's left? What's next? Is this it? And so we also talk about leading courageously. And a big part of leading courageously, I've found, especially in this last decade, is how do I lead myself so that I'm grounded, I am more fulfilled, I am more joyous. And then what does that mean for everybody else around me, right? Including the teams, your family, your friends, your circles. And so today's episode is one I've been really looking forward to because it's something that we don't talk nearly enough about elsewhere, but we do on this podcast, which is starting over. And this concept of not only reinvention, but doing it in a way that's elegant and practical and not churning and chaotic, right? And my guest is Ana Reyes-Ouzts. Hello, Ana.
Hey girl, how are you? I'm
so excited for folks to get to know you on this. But Ana is a certified John C. Maxwell coach and a lifestyle mentor who began, you guys, a brand new career at, check this, 64. I love that. You don't even look 60. You don't even look 40. Okay. Let's just get that out there. So let that sink in. You guys, a lot of us think it's too late, or I don't have enough resources, or I don't have enough connections, or who am I to start over? At 64, when most people are slowing down, Ana's decided to step into her purpose and help people do the same. I want to say that she's really proof that it's never too late to design the life that you were meant to live with clarity, courage, and conviction. So we're gonna dive in with Ana about what it really takes to invent yourself, not only at any stage, but certainly in this wise season where you've seen and done so much, right? And I think Ana, I know you definitely have kids, maybe grandkids.
I have 6 grandkids.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
I have plenty. Which age category do you want? Give
right.
It to you.
And so leaning into that energy and that vitality, right? Like I really want to talk about and share with people what are the strategies that we can sustain that not only enable us to walk into the season where, yes, we can be a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more on purpose, but also how can we fire up? Because we have so much wisdom. We have so much to share. We have so much cojones. Right?
Look at you.
Right? We have so much, like, we care less about what people think, and we want to dig in more into what we want to do and how we want to influence that. So, Ana, I'm just reading kind of some of the pre-notes. I love your story, and I've known you for, girl, I don't know what, maybe almost, so I've been in Florida for about 10 years. Okay. We met, I want to say either 2018, probably around there, because I did my fashion business. I started in 2017. And so I may have met you either around that fall or into that spring. So definitely a long time. But thank you for being here, and just say a few opening words to people that are going to be listening to this, your folks and your family.
Well, first of all, again, thank you so much. And I will tell you that I remember exactly the day that I met you. So we were at the airport trying to get on a plane, and you showed up and we started chatting it off. It was your very first event in the fashion world. And then we hit it off right there and then. So that's number one. I am a proud mom of 2 beautiful daughters, and I love the role of being a grandmother because I set the bar for them that they can do whatever they want. And I'm not your typical grandmother, to say the least. So that is the most important thing. I love the journey that I'm on, and I love this chapter of my life, and that I can share that with so many people to make a difference.
I love that. So the name of this podcast is Beyond the Quo. And people always are like, what does that mean? And really, quo is just an abbreviated form for me of status quo. And when I say living beyond the status quo or beyond the quo, right, just to bend it a little bit cooler, it really is this concept that a lot of us are comfortable in the life that we're living, and we're comfortable with the relationships that we have. And I like to say that comfort means living at a level 5 because it's not horrible in comparison to other people, but it's not spectacular in terms of perhaps the hard work or the hard decisions or the discipline that one needs, whether you're male or female or in between, to make decisions to get to an extraordinary level of life. Tell me kind of in your perspective, what living beyond the quo embodies for you.
So as you shared, now I'm going to be 66 next month. So that's been a minute, right? And I share that you said something that's really important. Status quo is fine. It wasn't fine for me. And I believe that the more people that I meet, the more people that I interview, I realize that they're just not happy where they're at. There's something more for them, but sometimes it takes a moment for them to figure it out. That's what I love to be able to help. When I have a conversation, I straight up say, and I look them right and I go, are you really happy where you're at today? And they'll look at me and say, no, I'm not. And then the realization that there was more. They were meant for more, woman or man. It doesn't matter because I coach both. And that's the realization. There's so much more. Status quo is not enough for me. My goal is that, are you better today than you were yesterday? And every day when I wake up, that's my goal, to be better today than I was yesterday. And if you're okay being there, that's okay. I'm not disrespecting that feeling, but I know that you can do better and feel better in your own skin and more confident. So
what are some,
that's the goal.
Yeah. What are some a lot of people think that transformation, like we use these big words, right? And some of them are overdone. Some of them like transformation and redesign your life and manifesting your destiny. Like to a lot of people, practical, still in corporate, still in the day-to-day grind, right? Like I grew up professionally in Washington, D.C. And for 20 years, getting up at 5 a.m., getting my kids together, myself together when I was a new mom, pumping, like all of the things, and then jumping on a train, right? And then spending 40 minutes in traffic and then getting to work and quote unquote starting your day when you've started like 4 hours ago, and like skipping lunch and not drinking water. And like, what do we say to the people? Because it's not only moms, it's not only women, but the people that are in the day-to-day grind, that sort of like feeling that pit in their stomach that, well, it's all well and good for you to say that, right? Like Stacey or Anna or whomever. But how do I do that in my life? Like, what are some breadcrumbs or some like tiny incremental steps that alleviates that level of feeling stuck or feeling overwhelmed that you've seen work not only personally for you, but with the folks that you support and your community?
That's a great question. So I also came from corporate America.
Yeah.
I was not always an entrepreneur. I was in the legal background for 25 plus years. So I beat you in corporate America in that grind as a mom, as a single mom, and then as a single person. So it was different, but I knew that I wanted more. I couldn't explain it. There was a burning feeling inside of me that I could go do something else. Is it the safest? No, it's never going to be the safest. As you and I both know, it's never the safest. The safest is to stay working for somebody else, paycheck to paycheck, grinding through, living somebody else's dream. For me, it took everything I had. I jumped into the pool, into the entrepreneurship. I never looked back. What I help my clients with is I build their confidence. Sometimes that's what they're lacking. So we build that personal growth. Personal growth will get you where you want. And maybe you don't leave your job, but you find a hobby. You find something that makes you excited when you wake up in the morning besides your job. I also started a nonprofit when I came up here with my sister, and I love that I'm able to do that. I have a platform now that I get to help charities and other women in business. So sometimes it's not the money that you're looking to replace, but it really is what makes you happy. So the journey is personal. Yeah. It's never going to be, I'm not a business coach. I'm a personal lifestyle coach. It's your journey. Every day when I say it's you versus you when you wake up. So I found that I had a lot in me that I could do. I was in corporate America forever. So I don't know, it sparked something inside of me. So my goal is to spark something inside of somebody else, help them find their clarity, their purpose equals passion.
Yeah.
That's the formula.
Yeah. And I wish it could resonate with more people, because I find that when I talk to folks, not only about what I do now in this season of my life, but just in general about how fulfilled I feel in a way that the biggest paycheck honestly didn't make me feel. I don't know how to translate that into words, because it's like trying to tell somebody, explain something to someone who's never had that experience, and they can only envision it. But honestly, we can only envision something as far as we'll let ourselves, because we don't know what we don't know, right? And so I feel like, when I first heard, and I did a lot of master coaching years ago. I was a student, right, before I became a teacher, and I sat in like big groups or group coaching or whatever, and I was puzzled. I was like, what the heck do you mean you can like be happy every day? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Right? Like, do these people not have like real jobs and real lives and like real worries? Right? But it's true. And I think for me, the one thing I am a huge proponent of, and I'd love to hear your perspective on it, given your work with John Maxwell's team and so forth, is this concept of core values and understanding authentically who you are and what you want to be in the world. And you and I just talked about meeting in that airport line. I remember it now. I think we bonded over a jacket or something. We were wearing the same thing or something, but it was an energy, right? It was a recognition in each other that to some extent we looked different, but also we moved differently in the world.
Yes.
And I like to say like attracts like, right? And sometimes we're a magnet, and the design of a magnet isn't only to attract, but it's also to repel. And I feel like in our lives, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's the biggest lesson, is that is okay.
I agree with you.
Right? How do you, as you even get more experience and wiser, right? Like when you make big moves that look to other people like reinvention, or, oh my God, what's Ana up to now? Because you have those naysayers, even people that love us, right?
Yeah.
What is it about the way that you move in the world that gives you the confidence that reinvention is okay, change is okay, the risk is worth it?
So you said a couple of things that I have to backtrack. First of all, the core of who I am, as well as with the Maxwell coaching, is that the more people I help, guess what? The more successful I am going to be. That is the core value of what I do. Mm-hmm. When you are in a space that you are happy, there is no paycheck that can replace it, because you're living in your purpose every single day of your life. Yeah. What's the worst scenario? And I'm going to present it to you. If you failed at this and you went back to your job, what's going to happen? Nothing. You go right back where you were, working for the government, not living your best life, but getting a paycheck. If I ever had to go back to work, I could go back and work with an attorney's office. Yeah. I could work in an environment where I was an executive assistant. If I didn't try, how will I know if I could succeed in this or not? What is the worst case scenario? And that's how I present it to my clients. I tell them not to be reckless with their things, but I've had people that they quit whatever they were doing because they really were miserable. I said, there's a paycheck, but are you happy? Yeah.
And happy for people, this concept of happiness, I want to dig into that, right? Happiness is not walking around laughing all day, joyous and like high-fiving the trees. You know what I mean? Like happiness, I think, is different things for different people. For some people,
Right.
and to your point about like, what does that mean to you, right? For some, happiness is
Mhm.
the body that I'm in, the physical frame that is Stacey, my muscles and my bones and my joints are not aching when I walk up the stairs. Happiness for some people could be I look at my children, my grown adult children, and I have a thriving relationship with them. Whereas in the past, maybe I didn't. Happiness for some people is I have the financial wherewithal, the confidence now in where I am financially, or I understand what my next steps are in order to get from here to there so that I can comfortably support not only me, but maybe my aging, ailing parents. Like, I don't know, right? So I think this concept
Exactly.
too of happiness. Tell me how you sort of support people in, and even yourself, right? The life that you live and the role model
Right.
that you are. Because whether we realize it or not, Anna, and I think your girls were maybe younger, a lot younger when you started your entrepreneurial journey. My
Oh
daughter,
yeah.
yeah, my daughter was, I want to say if that was, she was maybe 9 and Adam was maybe
Little.
little. And so
Yeah.
they've watched me not only succeed and be on stages and be interviewed in the
Yeah.
news, but they've watched me cry when nobody showed up to an event.
Yeah.
They've watched
Oh
me
no.
working till 2 a.m. They've watched me um, defeated,
Yeah.
right? So this isn't all happiness,
Yeah.
but
Oh no.
I think those yucky parts, the messy
Yeah.
parts, not only make it more fulfilling, but for people that want to kind of dig into their own level of what happiness means, I think there's an understanding that it's not this destination. Like in 2 years,
Right.
I will be happy, period. And then
Yeah.
it stays that way. Like, how do we talk people through navigating the journeys and the ebb and flow?
I love that. So I'm not hugging trees, just so you
Yeah.
know. I'm not there. I might be someday, but I'm not there today. Anyway.
Right.
So again, it's a very personal journey.
Yeah.
My happy might not be your happy. Your goals might not be my goals. What I do is that I have a very heart-to-heart intake form with my clients. I ask them really hard questions, right? First of all, what is your immediate goal? What's your long-term goal?
Yeah.
It looks different to everybody. So I'm designing your best life. I'm helping you design your best life. What does that look like to you? It's different for everybody. You nailed it. It's different for everybody. But at the end, the ultimate goal is living your best life, helping elderly parents, whatever your goal is. Or is it because you want to quit your 9 to 5 to pursue a charity, or you want to pursue opening a business, or you want to pursue just traveling the world, or you want to pursue living healthy in your own skin? Because I do touch upon health and wellness because it's the secret sauce to everything. I'm an advocate for healthy living because that is part of my journey. I tell everybody that is part of it. And let's say, oh, I've never exercised. Okay, so let's figure this out. Go walking 15 minutes twice a week. Can I do that? Yes. So everybody's different.
Yeah.
When I have so many different backgrounds, so many different careers, some people don't even have a job. They just want to be happy in their life right now because social media has really messed them up, thinking that everybody is living their best life because it's fake. It's not real. We have to be really assertive with this and say, let's get real with what we have. Let's work together and let's help you live your best life, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So you are correct. There's no secret formula.
No.
It's just investing in yourself before you can invest in other people
Yeah.
to live their best life as well. And you said something important. You'll be a better mom. You'll be a better grandmother. You'll be a better wife. You'll be a better friend. You'll be a better daughter. You'll be a better human being when you're happy in your own skin.
What do you say to folks that are like, and age is a big thing, right? Like, I don't think people talk about, and we've both been like, we were both in the fashion and personal styling and kind of lifestyle business for many years before we segued into sort of the transformative work of human design, right, if you will.
Right.
But for me, a missed opportunity in my early journey into entrepreneurship and foundership was men. And when I started having guys approach me about coaching, I was like, because it was unusual for me, because I marketed to women, really, because we, for some extent, are more willing to be emotionally pride open, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a huge movement right now of men that are in midlife like us, that are exploring, wow, am I parenting the way that I want to, not the way that I learned from my parents, which was really very much command control, right? It was very much do as I say, not as I do. But I watch my friends, I watch my husband, I watch our friends that are single dads or who have blended families, grappling with this need to evolve themselves, whether it's thinking, whether it's emotional capacity, whether it's, the way that they move in the world, being stereotyped. And I find myself really leaning into not only opening my lens, but also trying valiantly sometimes to figure out how to best support them. But tell me about kind of your circles, because we follow each other on social media and, you have such a fun relationship with your guy, right? But tell me a little bit about, because a lot of times, yes, we work with women, but the ripple effect transcends to their circles, including their partners, right?
Absolutely.
How do we culturally also bring our dudes in to the change that makes them happy also?
Yeah. Well, I think because they see us investing in ourselves, you are motivating them to look at themselves and, well, are they making healthy choices? Are they reading the right books? Are they really happy with what they have? And then you are full circle.
Yeah.
Living by example. And then, like you said, your children are watching you and your grandchildren are going to be watching you with the choices that you're making. And it's interesting because I have had gentlemen that take the assessment and we kind of talk about it. And their struggles are very the same as ours.
Absolutely.
They're not different.
Absolutely.
They're not confident in their own skin. They're thinking, is this all I have? What else can I do? I'm just so unhappy where I'm at. I'm not feeling good about the choices that I'm making. So it's the same conversation. We think that because, they look strong and they're supposed to be doing everything correct.
And they're really stoic. They're not sharing, right? They're not sharing at all.
No. And for them to come and take that assessment with me, I know it's like super under the radar because women, we reach out for help. We're that person. I need help. I'm not. But for men to do that, that's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Because there's a persona that they have to be strong and in control and know everything and be everything. So the shift is happening. You are correct because I've seen it in my coaching as well.
Yeah.
I have a husband and wife that I'm coaching. And I think that's fab because they are working together to be better. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? I think it just blows my mind.
Yeah. And my son, I'm sure when they get older, they'll be like, Mom, did you have to talk about everything? Sorry, Adam. We were talking the other day and I try to be very present when I'm with them. I put the phone away, we take the TV off. Like I'm very grounded and alert and aware that when they come to me like that, I just need to be really present, right? And we were talking and I said, he looked a little bit down and I said, I want you to know that you can talk to me about anything. I hope you know that. And he, for the first time, so he's 15.
Oh boy.
He's like, eh. And I was like, what do you mean, eh? So it got my radar up. And he's like, Mom, there are just some things I can't talk to you about because it would upset you. And I said, why do you think it would upset me? And it was important for me to not be his mother in that moment, not be his friend, not be a coach, just really be a safe space for him. Because I didn't want him to think he was letting me down as a parent or being being I didn't want to seem condescending if I was using my coaching tone. Sometimes you fall into it, right? Or the positive, oh my God, so I was very careful about what I was asking. And he said, well, Mom, sometimes like people don't want to see guys who don't have it all together. And he said it so like quietly.
Wow.
And I was taken aback because obviously now we are not fully aware of the social media that they're consuming or the conversations they're having in school or anything like that.
Yeah.
We only see optically a sliver. And I fully understood that during the pandemic when day to day I was able to observe them. And again, it was via Zoom because they were in class. How many things I am not aware of is happening in their world. But what do we say to like the parents and I call them cheerleaders of the kids, right? You don't have kids, but they are in the thick of it with our kids. What do we say to the folks that are thinking about the next generation and not only breaking some of those stereotypes, but training them? Like I've taught them to be present. I've taught them to use power poses. I've taught them to meditate before a big exam, like to really get in state before they do big things. I've taught them to do kind of what you were talking about. What's the worst that can happen? And then laugh about it because obviously that's not going to happen. It's like Chicken Little and the sky is falling down.
Yeah, exactly.
But what do we say to not only the adults navigating their own growth while their kids are growing into young adults, but the young adults who may be listening to the show, and there are quite a few of them, that are struggling with these boxes that society is trying to put them in. That leads us to burnout. That leads us to all of the things we're talking about.
Absolutely. Super interesting. When I'm done here, I have a 19-year-old podcaster that's going to interview me.
I love that.
So where I want to go with this is that this next generation is going to do better. And I'll tell you why, because they are more aware and have more resources and are investing in themselves more than we ever did and our parents ever did. Yeah. Health-wise, mentally, they're surrounding themselves with more positivity. They are making better choices and they know that they need the help and they go and they reach out where we were, oh gosh, no, I'm never going to do that. Mm-hmm. I would have never gone to HR and said, I'm going to burn out. I need help.
Right.
Or, or
we just sucked it up.
They knew one thing, work and provide. Yes. Work and provide. That's all they did. This generation is going to take us to the next level because they are literally equipped better than we are. Yeah. And they're making better choices.
Yeah. That takes a lot of courage too, right? Because I think I did this whole episode on courage doesn't come before big moves. It comes after you take the scary step.
Yeah.
Right? And so let's talk about people that have, and this is an interesting question I'm going to ask you because I just love unpacking with people what this is. So my co-founder and I are making big moves, right? And some of them feel uncertain because they've never been done before. And I'm sure you've done the same thing, right? And the people that love us the most, who have our best interest at heart, are sometimes the one to be like, are you sure you want to do that? Right? And it's coming from a place of absolute adoration and concern. But also, how do we, as people that maybe are a little bit rebellious, a little bit beyond the quo, maybe there are people listening to this that want to make a big move. Maybe they want to publish the book. Maybe they want to start their own podcast. Maybe they want to quit that job. But there's the good angel on the shoulder saying, are you sure? Like, what do you say to naysayers or the people that are like, you're too old, you're too, the economy's not good? Like, what do you say to those people?
So I just touched on this last week. So I'm the product who goes back and studies for a year at 64. I do. Why not? I keep saying, if you've shared with somebody that is your family member, a really good friend, a coworker, a partner, and you share your idea, your dream, and they're like, you're going to do what? And they look at you and you have three heads. Like, seriously, they're not vested with your crazy dream. And I'll say, yeah, I'm going to go do this. And they'll be like, Oh, okay. And then they'll give you all the reasons because A,
Well,
B,
they're
C,
trying to
D, and
keep you
E.
safe, right?
You have to shut it down. Shut it down. Go and do it. Again, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. At the end, nobody's going to die in the making of a coach. They're just going to be fine.
Yeah.
Go for it. I say, don't let it get into your head. I walk them off the ledge. I say, you can share it with your family, you can share it with people, and then you do your thing. You make your move. You had an amazing job and you decided to go full circle into something else.
Yeah.
People must say, are you crazy? You have this great career. And are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm good.
Yeah. Can I tell you?
Own it.
I don't know if I shared this. I don't know if I've shared this on this podcast before, but I have shared it elsewhere. So when I walked away from my high six-figure federal career, leading teams and doing all of this amazing work in Washington, D.C., I wrote a post about it. And I will tell you, and I have no qualms about sharing this. So I knew I was leaving about 8 weeks before I actually left. So I gave them enough notice, and they, we knew what the game plan was. And I had written a post that I was going to share with my colleagues and on LinkedIn, just saying, I was going to do this thing and da-da-da. And I had so many reservations. I was scared, right? Because for me, coming from a developing country, being an immigrant, like I was living the dream, right? At 40, I was living the dream. And what the heck are you doing, Stacey? Right? But what happened, Anna, was, so I was going to quit. My last day was going to be like Christmas Eve, right? Of 2022. And I had everything set up because I'm a planner, right? I'm like, this, and this. My husband got laid off the week before. Was he laid off? No, I think he quit. I believe he resigned because it was a terrible, tenuous situation. And he asked me, and I was scared, and I was like, you've got to do what you've got to do. Do you know what I mean? But I struggled that whole week. I mean, agony about retracting my resignation. And I don't even know how to describe that feeling of jumping off that ledge still with my own announcement and not retracting and staying, right? For the sake of security and the sake of like playing it safe.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what happened after. So I pulled the trigger, and the post that I thought I was going to post on LinkedIn and elsewhere, I did not. I posted something very visceral based on what had happened to my spouse the week before and all of the fears I was having. And I titled it, Walking Away from a Crazy or Fearless. And I used 2 photos of me. One was when I first started with Homeland Security. Girl, baby Stacey, oh my gosh. I was wearing my navy blue suit with my pearls and right? I was all proper. And then Stacey in like a red outfit with red lipstick, right? Rebel in disguise, right? So those 2 photos were like juxtapositioned. And I pulled the trigger on that post maybe about, 3 p.m. Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I didn't check my LinkedIn or anything. I was like with family and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
December 26th, I opened up my social media and it was wild. I had 100,000 interactions on that post. It went viral. I had an inbox full of emails. My calendar was full. I was asked to do speaking engagements. And one, I thanked God, right? Like, holy crap. Because if there was ever a entrepreneur that needed a launch pad, it was that. But also, it was a test from the universe, right? That's how I looked at it.
Clear. Yeah.
And I want to say to people that your story may not be as dramatic as that, right? I'm sharing it because no big moves are ever done completely, flamboyantly, confidently.
Exactly. It looks different.
It looks different, and that's okay.
You know what you did? You brought hope to so many people. That was why it went viral, because you did what they've been wanting to do and were afraid to do.
Yeah. Tell me about a moment that happened with you. Like, what was your should I quit, should I stay, go moment?
Well, I'll tell you a back end story that I don't think you know this. So I was in the legal field for 25 plus years. And I wanted to be a bail agent. I wanted to get people out of jail. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And I told my attorney, so he had my blessing. He says, well, I'll get you started. You'll meet the first person in Broward. He's the main guy. And if you know anything, it's through the Department of Insurance. I studied for a year and a half. I was, I had to take the mentorship and be a trainee for a year and a half, making minimum wage on the weekend, getting people out of jail, and then passing the test. I was ready to pull my trigger and leave corporate America to own this business. I loved it. I loved it so much. And then the housing market crashed. And there was no turning back from that. How could I justify leaving a nice job with insurance, bonuses, making a really good salary to something that had no hope?
Yeah.
I couldn't bond anybody out. People were in bankruptcy. People had lost their houses. They had no credit. They had no cash. So I was like, wow, this is not how I planned it. I had planned my exit out like you sort of planned it out. It didn't happen that way. And I love makeup and I love fashion. I love all things. And I had a young lady that was with me in the office. She said, you're so good at makeup. Why don't you try to get into Mary Kay? And I was like, girl, I'm your best client. I'm good. Like I was a junkie. She said, no, you should really do this. I had never dabbled in direct marketing, ever. Ever. I've always worked in corporate America. That was my gig. And I said, well, you know what? I could give it a shot. I have nothing to lose, as I keep saying, and I keep asking her, what do you have to lose? Within 11 months, I became a director and a car driving director at that. And the attorney made it so easy for me to make my decision. 18 months into it, I'm not going to bore you with all the details. He actually fired me because he said that Mary Kay was getting in the way of his business. So immediately I became a Cadillac sales director and went on to be a $500,000 director. When I walked away from that was because I really wanted to pursue fashion and I couldn't do both. I felt like I was tugging at two things. And I'm telling you this because there's so many layers and so many chapters that you can go and do and be. Doesn't matter. One bad thing created some amazing thing. It opened my eyes to be an entrepreneur. I've never not been an entrepreneur since that day that I got fired for wanting to pursue my own dreams. And look, and I've been successful at all of them in Mary Kay and Cavi, and now as a lifestyle coach. So
one of the
those
things
chapters written up. They're out
and
there.
Nobody loves a movie that started happy, the middle was happy, the end was happy. Like the hero's journey is such that there has to be some sort of moral, physical, spiritual test that solidifies who this hero is in our minds. And then we're all cheering for the hero. And this is why Avengers and all of these shows, massive followings, because we want the journey, right? So if we didn't have those moments that propel us to some freaking other side of ourselves, then what's the point of this, right? I want to also say, so I've known you for a couple of years, and one of the things I have appreciated the most about you is the warmth of your spirit and sort of really pulling people together in community. Talk to us a little bit about the communities that you're building and kind of that arm of Ana,
It tugs at my heart. It's something that I started in Broward in Fort Lauderdale. When I moved up here in a small community, honestly, I didn't find my people. There's nobody that I connected with. It was really, really difficult. I thought, how hard can this be? Heck, it was hard as heck. And my husband said, well, you said you'd do it your way. Why don't you go and do your own thing? So I started to create community in my home, and fast forward, COVID, had to shut it down. And my sister moved up from Broward. She had a business that she wanted to promote as a photographer, and she's amazing at it. And she said, oh, why don't we start this up again? I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I literally wanted to shut down. But, I listened to my heart, and I said, you know what? There's more left in me. Let's go for it. And we started in the peak of COVID. A nonprofit to help entrepreneurial women find their voice and help local charities and help local businesses. It's a threefold. We started with 11 women in June 2020. So we are 5.5 years in. And I'm proud to say that we're 7 chapters live all over the state of Florida. And it just keeps growing. So voices need to be heard. Women want to have a platform where they're heard, respected, and loved.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much of my story you've been following, but I think I've been on that trajectory for quite a number of years, trying to find my space where I can fully be me. And I know for some people that sounds crazy, but there's something about belonging, and we all know this, right? Different ways. And so I launched, well, we haven't formally launched. We're going to officially launch in January, but we're launching something called Whistle, and it is, it's really a power hub for global leaders of Caribbean heritage across the world.
Nice.
And it's not a Caribbean organization per se, but all of us have roots in the Caribbean. And I think it's important because it sets us apart in a way that's very special. When you think of, you know, the trauma and the anxiety and the devastation happening in Jamaica. So this episode, for those listening to it later, is recorded the week that Hurricane Melissa just moved through the Caribbean. Watching that level of resiliency and the level of the diaspora coming together to support and serve and lift is rewarding, but also humbling, but also that's who we are, right? Yeah. And I think that we have an opportunity, what you're doing and what we're creating, and what people have created since the beginning of time, right? We call it different things, Facebook groups, right? Yeah. But it's this place where we can come together for strategy, for harmony, for belonging, for kinship. Right. And I think it's empowering to see what you're doing in your diaspora and in your circles. And I want to encourage people. I think podcasting too is its own form of community, because the podcasts I follow and the voices I listen to empower me to do different things. And I think it's important that in all of the negativity happening, we provide a compass or a flashlight or a North Star in our own tiny ways to bring people together in a way that's healthy and fulfilling and happy, right?
Yeah.
So final words, you can shout out your people. I mean, tell us where to find you, all of that good stuff.
Well, that's great. Again, I just thought we were just catching up, honestly. I don't know. People can look at us later and say, okay, whatever. We were caught up in the moment. It's so good to connect with you and just really bring us back to that special time. And I see you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Really, I'm Cuban. Does that make me Caribbean?
Yes, I feel like yes.
I'm in the islands. So I just really want people to dig deep and let you know that you can live your best life. I would love to connect with anybody that wants to connect. My website is tlclifestylecoach.com. Take the assessment, go on my calendar. I'll give you a free 15-minute coaching session. And I would love to just really connect with you, find out where do you want to go? What does it look like for you? Everybody is different, like we talked about. If you are a businesswoman in any of the chapters that I'm in, it's a Bold Ladies in Business Corp. We are in Broward, Duval, Seminole, St. John, Volusia, Flagler, and Marion County. If I forgot one, I'm sorry. But that's what we have. If you are a businesswoman in any of those chapters, I would love for you to join and build community with other like-minded businesswomen as well.
Yeah, I would encourage you to reach out to Ana. Ana is the real deal. One of the things that's huge for me in my life right now is people that are consistent. I always say that integrity factor is huge. And I think that you're one of those people that has consistently remained who you are, who you present yourself to be, rather. And I just love that level of leadership for people who are searching for something solid and meaningful. So yay. Anna, thank you so much. All right. So
Thank
today,
you.
as we kind of wrap up, we talked about a lot of things today. I think the three things that are going to stay with me from this conversation is one, it is never too late to redefine and reinvent not only yourself, but what your contributions are in the world. I think as humans, we're never going to be fulfilled unless we are living to our full potential. And there's no recipe for that, as you've heard. It is, let me try this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient and tweak this recipe. And you're going to find the meal that you love. And guess what? In 2 years, you may want to try some different meal. And it's okay. It is
okay.
entirely okay to tweak the recipe. I almost said twerk.
Okay, we can do that.
We can do that too. But it is entirely okay to change your mind and change what you do in the world and change your surroundings and your circles. It is 100% okay, as long as you're not mean and unkind about it, right?
Exactly,
I think,
yes.
Yes. Number two, age, definitely, Anna, when I talk to you, age to me is nothing but a number. I just celebrated my 48th birthday. So I'm coming up on that milestone in 2 years, that big 50. And everybody that I talk to who's on the other side of that is like, it is magnificent. And so I love that you are kind of showing us what that could look like, right? And then the third thing is this concept that while a lot of us do work predominantly in our spaces with women, it is important that we are not forgetting the other side of that coin, right? And their needs and the men and the boys in our life that need us to be more present and pay more attention to their leadership journey. And remember, for me, leadership is not only others, it's self-focused. And how are they showing up in the world amongst all of the competing noise? And then fourthly, community matters. And whether it's my community or Anna's community or a podcast community or a meetup, I don't know if meetups are still a thing, like be brave and be courageous enough to go to something that maybe feels uncomfortable, especially, nobody could tell, but I am an introvert, right? Fake it till you make it sometimes, but put yourself out there and get in circles that uplift you and get you closer to the thing that brings you probably the most fulfillment. And like Anna said, it could be a pastime, a hobby, right? Like whatever it is, dare to be different, right? All right. So I will talk to you guys next week on Beyond the Quo. Thanks for joining us. And until next time. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
Yay.